So there's no surprise your personal information is listed all over the internet. You can search for a lot of things and turn up your relatives, your addresses, your mortgage. You get all this stuff that you don't want out there as public information, unfortunately is out there. Data brokers buy it up, they sell it, and you are a free-for-all. Now, it's good to have somebody out there monitoring this stuff, preventing your data from being sold and limiting how much of your information is available online, and that's where today's video sponsor, Aura, is here to help. Aura will identify data brokers that are exposing your information and automatically submit opt-out requests on your behalf. They'll even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists. Aura also monitors your emails and passwords to see if they were involved in a data breach and exposed on the dark web. Aura has almost every internet safety tool you'll ever need, all inside one app. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online. If you sign up right now, Aura will give you a 2-week trial for free with my link. You'll be shocked to learn how much of your private information Aura finds exposed over those 2 weeks. Go to aura.com/superspeeders to start your free trial, also linked below in the description, or scan the QR code. So to try out Aura for free for 2 weeks, visit aura.com/superspeeders. In those 2 weeks, you're going to be amazed to see how much of your information is actually floating around on the internet, and they're going to show it to you. There's a link below in the description to aura.com/superspeeders, or you can click the QR code. That's aura.com/superspeeders. I put a link right below in the description, or hit that QR code. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and behind me I have both my Z06 and my 2023 C8 convertible. Now, to the untrained eye, and to most of you, you probably can't tell which is which from this angle. They're very similar. And that's going to be my biggest problem with the Z06, because I just drove this car back from Michigan. It went out on rental. The renters love it. However, one of these costs on the resale market over $100,000 more, and just sticker price, you're looking at least a $40,000 difference between these two. This, $93,000. This one, $132,000. Now, this is the Z06, obviously because of the price difference. But this is my largest problem with this car. There is not enough of a difference between this car and that car visually to sell it. And I think GM missed a huge opportunity here, because this could have been, and it is a world-class car. It's the best Corvette I think they've probably ever made. It is a world-class car, but they didn't do what every other manufacturer does. The Porsche Turbo looks significantly different than just a regular 911. It's much more aggressive. It's got more styling. It's the same thing, the Ferrari 458 versus the Speciale, the Pista versus the 488. All of these special performance variants are almost treated as if they're a different car. Yes, they're based off of the same production line, but they look completely different when you park the two next to each other. These, to the untrained eye, they would have no idea. And the problem, not even so much with Porsche, maybe a little bit with Porsche because they've been making the same car for 50 years, but with Chevrolet, the problem you have is there's going to be a million of them out there. They're going to be everywhere. And you are used to seeing these cars. Now, it's not, you see a C8, you're like, oh, C8, but you don't get excited anymore because they're all over. As I put on a Corvette Facebook group, just for like food for thought. I'm like, look, a lot of people don't even realize what the Z06 is. I mean, it's a great car. It's a great car to drive. And a lot of the guys, they like to either talk themselves out of it, like, yeah, I don't know if it's enough of a, the look doesn't do it for me. The performance is there by all stretches. This is almost a perfect version of that, but it just doesn't look $40,000 more for a lot of people. And then especially that it doesn't look $150,000 more. The only thing that this Z06 does not have is it doesn't have the carbon wheels on it, and it doesn't have the wing in the back, the Z07 package. That does differentiate it a little bit, but this Z06 is almost, through GM, treated like a trim level versus a different model. And if you put the wing on this car and the wheels on this car, you would think that's the Z06. That's the problem. And that is inherently going to, I don't want to say devalue this car, because it's always going to have a value as a performance car, but it's going to hurt this car in historical terms. It's just the Corvettes, traditionally the C5 Z06. C6 Z06 had the engine and everything. It looked a little bit different. The ZR1, same thing. It had the nostrils on the side of it. They've never really, until the ZR1, the C7 ZR1, they never really went wild and really made the Z06 variant look significantly different than the base variant. And they lost a huge opportunity here, because this isn't just a different engine and carbon brake. This is like the perfect Corvette if it looked cooler. And it's always going to be an issue, and it's always going to be cannon fodder for the internet guys to discuss. Let me show you the actual differences in these cars just so you know what to look for. You've got obviously bigger wheels and bigger brakes on this. These are the optional carbon ceramic brakes on this car. This is an $8,000 or $9,000 option. It's got this extension here, and this is just a little bit wider on the outside. But when you open the doors from both sides, you almost can't tell. I think that this door and this piece are identical on both of these cars. I don't think there's any difference there. I just think instead of this fender here, I think they just carved this out and made this just a little bit of a different shape. Here you get the side by side, right? It's very substantially similar. Now, you go to the back, this is going to be the biggest differentiator between the two cars because not a lot of people are going to go out of their way to do the quad tip outside exhaust and move it to a center cut exhaust. And that's going to be the biggest tell you're going to have between the two cars is the exhaust in the back. The rear bumper is slightly different, but the wing setup, the body lines, granted this is a convertible versus this is a Targa, they're very, very similar, and unfortunately too similar. Now, the big difference that you're going to have is the sound, and let me fire this up for you, you'll know which one is which. Yeah. They have the same interior. The other one says Z06 here. No Z06 on this steering wheel. These are the identical seats. They cost the same amount of money on both cars. Everything is really very, very substantially similar. Yeah. It actually doesn't let you cold rev this car. And when I say cold rev, like static rev it. That's what you're paying for. And then also, obviously, the additional performance of the braking and just the additional horsepower and the sound. But I don't know if that's enough to sell it. And when I say sell it, look, these things are sold. They're going to sell. It's a great car. This car with that performance is worth a lot of money. It is a great, it's probably the best, it is the best bang for the buck that you can really get for like $125 or $150. It's just not a $250,000 car. I don't think it's worth $250,000. I don't think it's worth $200,000. For $250,000, you could go get a brand new Lamborghini Huracan Evo. You can go get any Porsche Turbo, any GT3. Like, all of these cars are now in the realm, even at that $150, $180 price point, where these are actually stickering at. You can start shopping with much bigger cars that have much better road presence, I want to say, much more exclusivity, and that goes a long way. I mean, you're just a guy with a Corvette impressing other Corvette dudes or very, very specific enthusiasts with this car. When you're driving a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, you impress everybody. Now, you could get into that big, like, oh, who are you trying to impress? We're in cars. The one thing I've noticed, and it's an argument I hate, I don't want to show off. Of course you want to show off. You buy the best performance car you can afford, hands down. Until that money doesn't matter and you have the ability to make that choice, you can't say like, oh, I wouldn't spend the money on that. I was the same way when I was younger. Why would anyone ever buy this? I could just go get a Mustang and modify it and it'll perform as good as a Ferrari or Lamborghini. What a waste of money. Then you drive a Ferrari or Lamborghini, you're like, I get it. And when you can afford to make that decision is when you make that decision and when you can have an opinion. Otherwise, your opinion is biased and you don't even know it's biased, but it's biased based off of the fact that you can't select. You can only say what you would because you know what you can afford. 2023 Z06, 2023 Stingray convertible, one standard vehicle price of $78,500. The other one base price $114,200, which is very reasonable if you think about it, what you're getting. And then this one, total price $133,500 versus $92,000. Is it worth the extra $40,000? That's up to you. I think it is. Obviously, we can go through these cars and talk about how much faster this is. The performance speaks for itself. I don't have to go race them. I will do a performance test between this and a 458. I think that's a little bit more enjoyable. I thought they did a great job making this look like a very cool car, but when you see a million of them, it becomes less cool. This one, they missed out on a huge opportunity by all they had to do was make this car look significantly different, which is the easiest part of the entire process, right? It's the easiest thing to do is to make this thing look cool, and to the point where you can't just swap the parts from one car to the other car and nobody would know the difference. That's the problem. So there's my biggest frustration with the Z06. It just blends in a little bit too much, but it is an awesome car. It's an awesome driving car. You want to try it out. It's going to be going around all year, and it'll be a rental available here at Gotham Dream Cars in Teaneck, New Jersey. But my mini truck is not available, not for rental. Thanks for watching. Rob Ferretti. See you tomorrow.